everyone, welcome back to Kara's YouTube channel, Kara at Home. So what's in store for you guys today? Well, if there's one thing that I know my kids love is any vegetable with yogurt. It's a perfect addition for them. They could have it every day. And having them in mind today, so we're going to make a pachidi today. There are different ways of making pachidi. Some make it with coconut paste, some take out the coconut paste and there's only yogurt. But what we're making for you today is a pachidi with seasonal fruit. And I think it's going to be a refreshing dish to have together with your other dishes at night. So stay tuned. It's going to be a Rambutan Pachidi. What is a pachidi? It's essentially a yogurt, again, and a coconut paste combination. It's meant to be a side salad, refreshing, together with any other curries you may have at home. You can have it any time of the day. It's great with breads, it's great with rice. So let's get to it. Stay tuned, everyone. So the first thing that we do is to get the coconut paste going. Now, we'll take a cup of coconut. We'll put in about a half teaspoon of mustard seeds, a half teaspoon of cumin. We're taking about 2 spoons of shallot, 1 teaspoon of garlic, a few strips of julienned ginger, and about 2 pieces of the bird's eye chili. The last thing that we add is a couple of pieces, about 2 sprigs of the curry leaf, and we'll send that to be blitzed in the mixie jar to a fine paste. Now, for the second part of the pachidi, we shall start sauteing the ingredients. So let's take about, and here we're using coconut oil, let's take about 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. Once it's heated up, we'll add about a teaspoon of mustard seeds. Now we got to wait for it to crackle. And once it starts crackling, we'll add very little of the cumin seeds, about half teaspoon. And let's wait for it to have a nice crack to it so that the aromas of the spices start emanating from it. Now once you start smelling a fragrant smell from the spices, we'll take about 2 tablespoons of shallots, or a little bit more, and we will start sauteing it. Now at this point, we'll put in our garlic. We've put about 2 teaspoons of garlic, about a teaspoon of ginger, another 2 sprigs of curry leaf, and just 1 bird's eye chili. And now let's give it a nice swirl and saute it till it becomes translucent. Now at this point of the pachidi, I like to add a little bit of salt. So that's the trick in order for the onions to become softer and translucent quicker. So now let's give it a nice good sauteing at this point. We always remember to use a slow flame when we are sauteing. We don't want the onions to be too brown because we want to have a white consistency for this. You can always omit the chilies if you want to, if you're going to be serving it for the kids. So a slow fire and just saute the onions till it is translucent and soft, and you can see it coming together in the pan. The next thing we're going to do is to take the coconut paste that we had blitzed just now. Have a look at the paste, it's nice and thick. So we're going to pour all of that into the sauteed ingredients. And what we'll do is to cook the coconut so the rawness disappears, and that's what we're aiming for. To cook it until the raw taste and smell of the coconut disappears. Now, if it's too thick at this point, you can always add a little bit of water just to loosen the consistency. And now we'll let it be on a slow flame, and we will cook this until the rawness of the coconut evaporates. Now you could smell over here that the rawness of the coconut has already gone. So at this point, as you can see, it's very thick. So what we like to do is to pour in a little bit of water just to loosen up the consistency. Now after that, we've got about 10 pieces of rambutans with us. It will probably serve between 2 to 4 people comfortably with a cup of yogurt. So now with that, we're going to now put in our 10 pieces of rambutans which have already been peeled, but we're keeping the seeds. So we're just keeping the seeds, or else the rambutans will be all mashed up in this pachidi. So now we're going to add the rambutans, and we're going to add about 10 pieces of the rambutans. This would nicely serve about 2 to 4 people, and we'll cover that generously with this coconut paste and let the sweetness of the rambutans come out, which will then have a nice blend of sweetness yet tangy from the yogurt. So very gently move that around and saute it a little bit more and let it be cooked until the flavors are soaked up into the rambutans. So now we've added some water just to loosen the consistency. So as you go along, if you see it too thick, you can always add about 1/4 cup of water as you go along, just to loosen the consistency and let it be a little bit runny. Take the cup of curd. What we are using here is full fat Greek yogurt. You can always use whatever yogurt you have at home. Now we've whisked it for a little while so that it has a smoother consistency. Now we're going to take all of that and pour it in, and remember to always off the fire because you don't want your yogurt to split. So off the fire when you say it's too hot. So we've off the fire, and what we're doing right now is to bring it all together. Very gently let all the flavors immerse into the yogurt and let it all mix together without the fire being on, as you don't want the yogurt to split. You can take it out of the fire and do it separately, or you can just do it here with the fire off. So as you can see, the consistency, it's a little bit runny, but at the same time it's thick enough. So it all depends on the yogurt that you have at home, but make sure that you whisk it before you put it inside in order to get a smooth consistency. Put in about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and we're just going to add a little bit more salt in order to balance the taste. What we'll do also is to add a little bit of, as you can see, very little brown sugar. You can add a little bit of jaggery if you have at home, a little bit of brown sugar, cane sugar, gula melaka, whatever, but gula melaka will change the color of it. So we just want to give it a balance. Balance is nice with a bit of acidity, a bit of saltiness, and a hint of sweetness. So that's what we're doing right here. So now we'll go on to the next step, which is the tempering process. So let's get down to that. Okay, so we are at this final stage, which is a tempering stage, which, as I said in the earlier episode, is the most crucial part of the whole process, bringing it together, bringing the flavors together. So we're going to put about 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. Now, as it's a tempering process, we're also going to put a bit of spices. So swirl that around. I love the smell of coconut oil. It reminds me a lot of childhood, actually. So now, once it's hot, Make sure that it's really hot. Then add a teaspoon of mustard and let it crackle. So next we'll put in the balance of our curry leaves, which is about 2 sprigs of curry leaves. We'll put in just a few pieces of dry chilli. And we'll give that a nice swirl. The taste of curry leaves in coconut oil together with the mustard gives a beautiful aroma. What we do is we'll put back our Rambutan Pachidi mixture on the fire, and then we'll take our tempered spices with the curry leaf and mustard and dry chili, and we'll pour that inside. Now what we do is to bring it all together. You can see. Now you can always omit the chili or make it spicier depending on who's going to be consuming it. Is it going to be family, more kids, more adults? So I'm going to leave the chili, how much of chili you want, that's up to you. If you like it a bit spicier, you can always add more. Now, last thing you do is to check again for seasoning to make sure there's enough salt. Oh, I think that's perfect. There's a balance of saltiness, tanginess, and a little bit, a very slight hint of sweetness. I think that's come together really nicely. You can have this refrigerated, so it's really refreshing when you have that as a side salad. You could have that with cucumbers, with brinjal, you can have that with papaya. There's so many variations of it. So now let's dish it out and get it into the... So here we have it, everyone, the serving up of the Rambutan Pachidi. As you can see, we've just added some fried shallots on it, a bit of curry leaf as an added feature. Now you could have that chilled for about 2 days and it will stay really well because of the yogurt. So now put it in the fridge and I'll tell you it will be a wonderful addition to your dinner later on. So enjoy, everyone, and if you've liked this, give us a thumbs up and leave us your comment and press the bell button to tell us that you love the videos and to keep being updated for the next video. So thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.